Chapter 9. The accusation the 'tween deck had settled into an uneasy quiet after the storm, the kind that made every creak of timber sound like a whispered warning. The air was thick with the smell of wet wool and lamp smoke, and the men moved with the sluggishness of those trying to pretend nothing had changed. Finch and Pip coiled lines nearby, listening to the soft murmur of voices and the occasional clatter of tin cups. Then Tommy Briggs broke the quiet. He stood at his bunk, shoulders tight, holding up his tobacco pouch as if it were a dead thing he'd dredged from the bilge. The pouch sagged in his hand, empty. "Someone's been in my things." The words carried farther than they should have. Men paused mid-task, heads turned. A ripple of unease passed through the deck like a shift in the wind. Tommy's voice was raw, scraped thin by something deeper than anger. "This was full when we left Venice." A few of the older hands exchanged glances. The boys froze, watching. Someone muttered from the shadows, "Cole was near your bunk last watch." Cole looked up slowly from where he sat on his sea chest, sharpening a marlinspike. His expression didn't change, but something in his eyes, tired, hollow, hunted, flickered. "I didn't touch your things." Stepped toward him, jaw clenched. "You've been strange since we took that crate aboard." Jaw set, muttering to yourself, "You think we don't see it?" Cole rose to his feet. He didn't bristle or posture. He simply stood, tall and steady, as if bracing against a wave. A man can be troubled without being a thief. The air had changed. A faint coldness crept along the planks, subtle as breath on glass. The men felt it without knowing they felt it, an invisible pressure that made every suspicion feel justified, every doubt feel true. Tommy shoved him. Cole didn't move at first. Then he shoved back, harder, sending Tommy stumbling into the bulkhead. The boys scrambled out of the way as the two men collided again, boots thudding on the planks, curses. Flying, the crew formed a loose circle, not cheering, not intervening, just watching as if something held them there. Cole pinned Tommy for a moment, breath ragged. "You're looking in the wrong place for your devil." Tommy's eyes burned with something close to fear. "And you're the only devil I see." Fight might have gone further if not for the sudden thunder of boots on the ladder. First mate Samuel Briggs stormed into the circle, coat half-buttoned, fury radiating off him like heat. "That's enough." He tore the men apart with practiced force. Tommy's chest heaved. Cole wiped blood from his lip, gaze distant, as if listening to something no one else could hear. Briggs looked between them, disappointment etched deep in the lines of his face. "You accuse a man aboard this ship, you'd better be right," he told Tommy. Then, turning to Cole, "And you know better than to let your temper loose." The crew waited for the verdict, breath held. Briggs made the worst possible choice. "You'll stand the next watch together, side by side. You'll settle this like sailors, not animals." A murmur of dread passed through the men. Finch felt it like a cold draft down his spine. Pip swallowed hard. As the circle broke apart, Tommy glared at Cole with a hatred that hadn't been there an hour ago. Cole didn't look back at him. He was staring toward the aft bulkhead, toward the captain's stateroom, his expression tightening as if he could feel something poolsing behind the wood. Finch tugged at Pip's sleeve. "Tommy's wrong, isn't he?" Pip didn't answer. He was still watching Cole and the faint sheen of moisture forming on the planks near the captain's door.